Of a pregnant mother killed in her parents' driveway says they're relieved that police have made an arrest now. They say that while the suspect was on the run, he was posting on social media and even responding to their posts. Channel 2's Tom Jones live at DeKalb County, where the family says this isn't the first time they've lost a loved one to gun violence.
And Justin, Raesha Hurd was killed right here in her parents' driveway. The family says a year ago they lost another family member to gun.
Imagine witnessing your mother, your pregnant mother, gunned down in cold blood while you're standing right there. This isn't just a tragic event. It's something that changes lives forever. What was supposed to be an ordinary day took a horrifying turn when Raesha Hurd was fatally shot in front of her son, while 8 months pregnant. But what really led to her brutal death? You won't believe the shocking twist this story takes. The truth behind her death goes deeper than we think. Welcome to Crime Story Watch, where every story will keep you on the edge of your seat. These are not just cases, they're lives forever changed. Subscribe and hit the bell. Don't miss out on the truth waiting to be uncovered. This story takes us to DeKalb County, Georgia, a city that's home to a diverse community and suburban life, nestled just outside Atlanta. DeKalb is known for its rich culture, great schools, and strong sense of community. But just like any big city, it's also plagued by a rising crime rate, with incidents of violence often making headlines. It's a place where people live their lives in a delicate balance of hope and fear, hoping to be safe, but always aware of the danger lurking just beyond their front doors. In a quiet neighborhood, Raesha Hurd, a 31-year-old mother of two, was carving out a life filled with family, hope, and dreams for the future. She had been with her boyfriend, Justin Renee Lewis, for over 5 years. On the outside, they seemed like a normal couple raising their children together, but their relationship was anything but ordinary. Behind closed doors, there were signs of abuse that Raesha had been trying to escape for months. The two had a rocky relationship, often breaking up and getting back together. Over time, Raesha had begun to see Justin for who he truly was, a man with a temper, a man who used manipulation and control to keep her tethered to him. She had tried to leave him before, but each time he pulled her back with promises of change, promises that he never kept. They had 2 young children together, and while Raesha was determined to provide a better life for them, the constant back and forth with Justin weighed heavily on her. But like many victims of abuse, leaving wasn't as simple as walking out the door. It was a battle of emotional manipulation, psychological warfare, and fear of what might happen next. But on October 11, 2023, everything changed. Raesha was just doing what any mother would do, shopping for groceries to feed her children. Little did she know, her life was about to be taken in cold blood and it would leave her family in pieces. What was supposed to be an ordinary day ended with her life cut short and her son forced to witness the horrifying event, a moment that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Meet Justin Renee Lewis, known to some as Mad Music Cali, a name that evokes the persona of a tough, street-smart rapper trying to make it in the cutthroat world of music.
Hey, I step in this bitch, Dior, got in with that blip for sure. I swear to God, these niggas, they cap, they ain't really rich, they poor. I need this bitch for sure, then we hit a lick for sure.
But his life wasn't just about chasing dreams of fame.
Making this that pain from the heart, got them feeling me more. And I ain't capping when I tell you I really was poor. I was stealing out stores, shit I couldn't afford.
Underneath the bravado, the flashy name, and the persona was a man who was no stranger to violence, control, and manipulation. Lewis wasn't just an ex-boyfriend. He was a man who had woven himself into the fabric of Raesha's life in ways that no one should. The two had been on and off for over 5 years, and during that time, their relationship became a toxic roller coaster that spiraled into a deep, dangerous cycle of abuse. From the outside, things might have seemed like they were going okay, but behind closed doors, things were much darker. According to Raesha's family and friends, Justin would often use intimidation and threats to get his way. And when Raesha would try to leave him, he would resort to manipulation, guilt-tripping, and promises of change that never came through. There was a pattern, one that many victims of domestic abuse face, the cycle of abuse where there are periods of calm followed by intense violence. Raesha had been trying to break free for a long time, but every time she did, Justin would drag her back into his control with false promises. But why did Raesha stay? Why didn't she leave for good? This is the key question. Abuse doesn't always look like bruises or broken bones. Sometimes it's emotional and psychological. It's the slow, creeping manipulation that wears you down over time. Justin was skilled in this. He would tell her things like, "I can't live without you," or "You'll never find someone who will love you like I do." And in her vulnerable state, Raesha believed him. She wanted to believe the man she had children with could change, that the good days could outshine the bad. But Justin wasn't the person he promised to be. And by the time Raesha tried to make a real break, it was too late. Have you ever wondered why victims of abuse don't just leave? Is it just fear or something deeper? Stick with me because the truth behind this toxic relationship is about to unravel. But here's where things take a darker turn. Before Raesha, there was Sydney Dalcour, a woman who once shared her life with Justin Renee Lewis. Sydney, known affectionately as China, was 25 years old when she was found shot to death in her red 2003 Infiniti G35 on May 18, 2017, outside an apartment complex in New Orleans East. Sydney and Justin had been married for 5 years, and their relationship was marked by intense volatility. Family members described Justin as abusive, recalling instances where Sydney suffered physical harm that required medical attention. Despite their efforts to encourage her to leave the relationship, Sydney remained hopeful that things would improve. On the day of her death, Sydney was visiting her cousin and was found in her car with the engine still running. Witnesses reported hearing several gunshots around the time of the incident. The circumstances surrounding her death remain clouded, but those closest to her were adamant. Justin was involved. Despite the suspicions and the history of abuse, no charges were ever filed against Justin in connection with Sydney's death. The case remains unsolved, and Sydney's family continues to seek justice for her untimely death. Sydney's tragic end serves as a stark reminder of the escalating nature of domestic abuse. When warning signs are ignored, the consequences can be fatal. Sydney's family tried to intervene, but the cycle of abuse continued unchecked, leading to a devastating loss. Could Sydney's death have been prevented? If authorities had taken her family's concerns more seriously, would she still be here today? On October 11, 2023, Raesha Hurd was shot and killed in the driveway of her parents' home in DeKalb County, Georgia, in front of her 8-year-old son. Raesha, a 31-year-old mother of 2, was just going about her day, picking up groceries for her family. Little did she know that what seemed like a regular trip to the store would end with her life being taken in cold blood and her son forced to witness the brutal act. Raesha was 8 months pregnant at the time. Not only did her son see his mother murdered, but Raesha's unborn child also lost its life in that violent moment. Imagine the trauma, the sheer horror of such a young child seeing their mother's life taken in front of them. And the one responsible for this unimaginable tragedy, it wasn't a stranger. It was Justin Renee Lewis, her ex-boyfriend, a man with a dark history of abuse, manipulation, and control. He was the father of her children, and despite their separation, he couldn't let go. Raesha had been trying to break free from his clutches for months. She was done with the toxic relationship that had only gotten worse over time. But Justin, unwilling to accept her decision, decided to take matters into his own hands, to exert his control over her in the most extreme, irreversible way possible. Abuse doesn't always start with physical violence. It begins with psychological and emotional manipulation, where one partner exerts control over the other, often making them feel trapped. For Justin, the loss of control over Raesha was something he couldn't handle. Abusers often resort to violence when they feel their power slipping away, and Raesha's escape from him was a direct threat to his ego. When someone like Justin loses control, it's terrifying what they'll do next. What makes a person believe they have the right to take another's life, especially someone they once loved? How far can this need for control really go? But there's one more thing that makes this story even more chilling. Something Justin did after Raesha's murder that will make your skin crawl. Stay with me because it's not over yet. You're sitting there right now, and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, ask yourself, why not? You've heard the truth about Raesha's death, you've seen how Justin Renee Lewis's actions are tearing families apart, and you know this story is far from over. Don't let her memory fade away. If you don't subscribe now, you're letting this story slip through your fingers. You're turning a blind eye to the system that failed her once and could fail again. The truth is still out there, and the only way you can be part of making sure it's heard is by subscribing right now. If you're not subscribing, then drop a comment below and let us know why. What's stopping you from subscribing to make sure Raesha's story is told, that justice is served, and her death isn't swept under the rug? Are you really willing to ignore the fight for justice for victims like her? Now, just when you think this story couldn't get more twisted, Justin Renee Lewis made a move that absolutely stunned the public. Days after Raesha's murder, while her family was still grieving, while they were trying to piece together the devastating loss,
of a pregnant mother killed in her parents' driveway says they're relieved that police have made an arrest now. They say while the suspect was on the run, he was posting on social media and even responding to their posts.
Justin took to social media, and he mocked them. Can you imagine that? A man who just murdered the mother of his children decides to taunt her family online. He posted disturbing messages as if he had no remorse, no regret. He showed no signs of guilt for what he had just done. Instead, he taunted Raesha's loved ones, rubbing salt in their wounds with his arrogance and defiance. This kind of behavior is a hallmark of narcissism. Justin's social media actions speak volumes about his psychological state. Abusers often feel entitled to their actions and will stop at nothing to maintain their sense of dominance. By mocking the family, he wasn't just gloating, he was asserting that he was above the law, above the consequences. It was a power play, and it showed how detached from reality he had become. What kind of person mocks the family of someone they just murdered? Is this arrogance or something far darker? How can a person be so detached from humanity that they show no remorse for their actions? But the real shocker came when investigators uncovered something even more disturbing. This wasn't the first time Justin had tried to show his dominance. He had already been on their radar for a long time, and the truth about his past only makes everything worse. After weeks of investigation and mounting evidence, Justin Renee Lewis was finally arrested on October 18, 2023, for the murder of Raesha Heard. His arrest wasn't a surprise, but the way he handled it might have been. There was no sign of remorse, and in fact, he seemed almost apathetic, as if he had already made peace with the idea that he would eventually be caught. But justice wasn't as quick as it should have been. Here's the problem. Though the murder charge against him was clear, the system's response wasn't as swift. Despite being charged with malice murder, Lewis remained in the DeKalb County Jail, and the case entered a legal limbo. The community and Raesha's family were left waiting for his trial, waiting for the justice that seemed to be dragging its feet. The family wanted answers. Why did it take so long? Was there something missing from the case? Could there be more shocking developments waiting to come out? The justice system has a way of dragging its feet in cases like this. The process of charging someone with murder isn't just about evidence. It's about the system moving at its own pace. And in this case, Raesha's family was left in the dark for far too long. The emotional toll of that waiting period, wondering if Justin would walk free once again, just like he did after Sydney's death, was overwhelming. They were left in suspense, unsure of what the outcome would be even after the arrest. What happens when the justice system moves so slowly? How does it feel when the person who murdered your loved one is allowed to sit in jail but no trial date is set? What if the system fails again? If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, ask yourself why. If you care about Raesha's story, about justice, about making sure her memory isn't forgotten, subscribe now. Don't let this story fade. As we wait for a trial to unfold, there's always the question, will he be held accountable for what he's done, or will his past actions slip through the cracks again? We've seen the surface, the story, the crime, the arrest. But what's really driving someone like Justin Renee Lewis? What turns a man who once loved Raesha into the kind of person who could murder her in cold blood in front of their child without a second thought? The truth behind his actions lies in psychology. Lewis didn't just wake up one day and decide to kill. His path to violence was a slow, steady progression, and it started long before Raesha's murder. Justin wasn't just an abuser, he was a manipulator. Abusers like him don't start with murder. They begin by taking control of their victims' emotions. They isolate them, make them feel like they can't live without them, wear them down emotionally until there's no strength left to fight back. The cycle of abuse becomes so normalized that when the victim finally tries to escape, the abuser sees it as a personal attack, a challenge to their authority, something that can't be tolerated. This is when the violence escalates. Justin didn't just lose his control over Raesha, he lost his grip on his entire narrative. That's when murder became an option, the ultimate act of power, the ultimate way to assert that control once and for all. What drives someone to go from emotional manipulation to murder? Is it about control, rage, or something deeper? Can someone like Justin ever be rehabilitated, or are they doomed to repeat their crimes? The chilling truth is that Justin wasn't just trying to control Raesha, he was trying to dominate her entire world. And if this story ended with Raesha, it would still be terrifying. But Justin's past tells a much deeper, darker tale, one that stretches back years before he even met her. As the investigation continues, the question on everyone's mind is this the end for Justin Rene Lewis? Or is there more lurking in his dark past that we haven't uncovered yet? We know that Raesha's death wasn't an isolated incident. This wasn't a spontaneous act of violence. This was the result of years of emotional manipulation, psychological abuse, and a pattern of behavior that Justin Rene Lewis had displayed long before that fateful night in 2023. But there's more to his story, a history of abuse and violent tendencies that goes beyond just Raesha and Sydney. What happens when an abuser isn't stopped, when they're allowed to walk free, and when their violent tendencies are left unchecked? Do they simply keep escalating until someone finally puts a stop to them? The justice system may have caught up with him now, but what about all the times he slipped through the cracks? How many more victims are out there who never got the chance to speak up? Will justice truly be served, or will this man walk free again, just like he did before? How many chances do we give people like him before they strike again? And most importantly, how can we prevent stories like Raesha's from happening again? Raesha's story, like so many others, serves as a haunting reminder of the dangers of abuse, the risks of ignoring warning signs, and the devastating consequences when justice isn't swift enough. Justin Rene Lewis may be behind bars for now, but his past and the damage he's done will haunt his victims and the world forever.
Happy that Justin is captured, because we don't want anybody else to experience this. No other family.
The family says this isn't their first brush with gun violence.
We just buried my brother last year for gun violence.
Raesha was the glue that held everyone together.
That was my rock. She was really helping me heal.
Now she is gone. The family couldn't believe it when they saw Lewis on social media after the shooting, like nothing had happened.
I actually posted that he was wanted and that we were going to find him, and he liked it. He liked the status.
Don't fall in love to find out that, your hands are not for hitting, they're for hugging.
The family says they're on a mission.
We're going to definitely seek justice for Raesha.
And the Hurd say Lewis was the father of Raesha's unborn child.
As the case moves forward, the question remains: can we trust the system to stop the next one before it's too late? Or will the cycle continue, leaving more families to suffer the same fate? Share this video, and if you're still watching and you haven't subscribed yet, let me ask you, what are you waiting for? You've seen the brutal reality of what happened to Raesha, to Sydney, to so many women who never got the chance to fight back. This is not just a story. This is a fight for justice. If you don't subscribe now, you're turning your back on this fight. You're ignoring the voices of victims, of families that deserve justice. Don't let this be another tragedy we forget. The only way to make sure their names live on and the fight for justice doesn't stop is to subscribe. Go to the comment and type this: Justice for Raesha. Justice for Sydney. Justice for every woman who didn't deserve to die for trying to live free. I want everyone to see your words. I want the algorithm to push this message as far as it can, make it impossible for anyone to ignore the truth. Don't just watch this video and move on. If you truly care, leave this message in the comments. Let's make sure we are heard. If you won't do this for Raesha, Sydney, and every other woman, then what's stopping you? Rest in peace, Sydney. Rest in peace, Raesha. Ladies, please be safe. Tell us where you are watching from. We'll see you in the next video.